Welcome back to the Rugby League Outsiders prediction video. This is the only prediction video on the internet that counts, in our opinion.
And I've just been to Leigh to order me a humble pie from Derek's pie shop. We didn't do too well last week, Craig.
No, I think I got 2 correct and you got 3 correct, which is a bit of a shitter, really. But
what it does say, how great was the opening round of Super League? There was unpredicted results, drama everywhere, and Salford. So yeah, what a great opening round.
Yeah, not often we get draws like that. You know what I mean?
No.
Like 2 lots of golden point, didn't we? We had all sorts of stuff going on. We've spoke in the Set of 6, our weekly news show this week. We did a bit of a roundup of the first round compared to 2024. 2024 was marred by Cardgate. You know, there was more cards getting dished out than bloody Father Christmas's sack. And this year, you know, was very, very little sort of news like that on the pitch. It was just all exciting stuff and some great performances from teams that we've been, you know, we had no idea how they were going to perform. They performed incredibly well. And the main talking point, obviously, Salford. And again, we've spoke about that in our weekly news show. So check this out once you've watched this. So let's just have a quick look at the results before we crack on with this week's predictions.
Yeah, so Super League opening, entertaining style is the only way I could put it. Wigan versus the Leopards, a 1-0 thriller, and it was a thriller. I thought it was an incredible game. And I know some people are like, oh, well, there's hardly any tries scored and all the rest of it. I thought it was brilliant. Hats off to Wigan for the entertainment they put on, the show beforehand. What a great start to Super League.
Yeah, it was. When the fireworks kicked in, I thought, oh, are we going to have that moment where, you know, it's just like smoke everywhere, no one can see anything. It looked like it had gone up a level. Wigan, you know, we were there a couple of times last year. Their pre-match entertainment is always spot on, you know, the way they start, and they did not disappoint this time. And the stuff on the pitch from the players was just as exciting.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit when we start talking about the fixtures. And so the second game, Catalan v Hull FC. Hull FC proved all the doubters wrong. They've come out first game, gone over to south of France, give the Dragons a kick in. Pressure's already mounting on the Dragons. It's a strange thing to say after only one game, but they've made some big high-profile signings. For them to be not kicking on straight away was a little bit surprising. Hull KRV, Cass got their shit together after last week's debacle at Odsal. They looked great. Could have won that game, really. I mean,
it was close.
You could argue they were actually the better side for a lot of that game. Leeds v Wakey. Wakey, again, came out there. First game back in Super League. All guns blazing. I think Leeds looked like rabbits in the headlights a little bit, didn't they, in that game?
Yeah, just very little cohesion. And I'm sure there's huge backstories there. The likes of Darryl Powell, you know, playing at Leeds. Just, you know, there was just so many things that they could play on to make it an interesting fixture.
Yeah.
So good win, you know, we'll take that, but tougher challenges to come, I think.
Saints Salford never happened, so I don't need to talk about that. And then Huddersfield had a real good crack at Warrington. First half, to be honest with you, you could see Huddersfield winning that game. A great display from Warrington second half, especially Matt Duffy. I thought he was bloody brilliant. So yeah, there's the results from last weekend. Let's get into this weekend. Hopefully we can get more right than we did last week, because I tell you what, people have loved coming back to our video last week and telling us we were crap.
Well, that's the only reason why we do it, isn't it? just to wind people up. No, we do. You know, it's our opinion. I saw somebody posting on social media that they got all 5 right, and I was like, how? How did you predict those?
Yeah,
those wins. I mean, it's just, you must have gone out on a limb on some of those things. Anyway,
be interested to see what the bookies were paying on that, because I had a few bets on, and it was just for 3 games, we're paying out some good money. So if you got all 6 right, man, that must have been a good bet.
Talking about betting, we are going to be checking in with our team NRL tipster, the Sniper, a little bit later on. He's got some interesting stuff to tell us, specifically about draws. All right, so and the betting odds on draws and that kind of thing. We'll more on that later. And our first game then, Thursday night fixture, it's 8 o'clock. It's Wakey versus Hull KR.
Game full of intrigue, this one, isn't it? So yeah, Wakefield they look brilliant. We said, didn't we, like in our pre-game preview, that Wakefield are a little bit of an unknown, but they've brought in some great players, and they were cracking in the Championship last year. I thought Leeds were going to have too much for them in the first game. To be honest with you, I expected more from Leeds.
Agreed.
I expected a lot more from Leeds, especially how they've been sort of talking it up. Anyway, Wakefield, brilliant. Jowett, brilliant. The first try, what can you say about it? It's going to be a contender for try of the season in round 1.
I don't think it's that good, but and there is, they were saying that the ball's still in play. I'm not sure. That was very, very close. I know I'm looking at it from slightly, biased eyes.
From blue and amber tinted glasses.
Yeah, but you can't deny it was great. The little flick
to Tom Johnson to knock it back onto the field. I think it was Truman that tipped it on. Yeah. The flick on, Jowett goes over, and how good was Jowett in his first game? Anyway, Hull KR. I don't know what to say about Hull KR. They weren't quite at the races, I didn't think. They looked a little bit rustier. They haven't had much pre-season, have the Hull KR? They haven't played many pre-season games. I know they went over Amsterdam. They didn't play full strength side there. Mikey Lewis didn't have the best game, did he? By his own admission, he said after the match, I can see an upset here.
Can you?
Yeah.
In this match?
Yeah.
Right, well, I'll tell you what my decision is straight away. So I think this is a Hull KR win. I think Hull KR are going to sort out those problems, and they're going to be a much more settled team this week with Michael Lewis back on form. I don't think he's going to make those silly mistakes like when he tried to gather the ball up at the back there and dropped it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they went on and scored. I don't think that's going to be happening anymore. I think they felt the pressure of the first round. Being the great contenders that they are. I think they'll settle down. Wakey, I think they just performed incredibly well against Leeds, played on the Darryl Powell connection, and although I think they'll do well and it'll be a competitive game, a great one to watch, I think it's a Hull KR win.
Right, well, I think Wakey put loads into that first game. I think they threw everything at it. First game back in Super League. However, I think they've got another week in them. I don't expect Wakefield to finish in the top 6. I expect them to be mid-table this year, but I think they've got another week in them. First game at home, Fortress Wakefield. I think they're going to get the win. So
wow.
We'll split on that one.
Yeah, we're split on that. That makes it interesting. And one of us has got to be right.
Well, it could be a draw. Yeah, we're going over 80 minutes.
Right, okay, let's move on then. Friday night, we've got 2 games, both at 8 o'clock. The first one being Hull FC, who had that incredible win out there in Perpignan against Wigan. All right, a very, very narrow defeat in a historic game.
Yes, first of all, we're going to this game, aren't we, Craig? We're going to be doing a bit of a backstage tour, looking at the change rooms, the facilities, everything that's going on match day. The media guy has promised me there's going to be loads going on for the first game at Hull FC this year. So, yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into that. However, the game on the field, do you ever want to play Wigan after they've just lost one? I mean, come on. It's going to be a difficult day for Hull FC, I think.
Yeah, one team overperformed.
They did.
Exceeded expectations, let's say. Another team, I don't think they played particularly bad. They were just pipped to the post by, in a very, very close game.
They were 0-0, weren't it? So it could have gone either way. It went down to a shootout, essentially. There's not loads we can say about Wigan, is there? They're a settled team. They're a quality outfit. The club's doing everything well. Hull FC is a team that really intrigues me now. Because, look, let's face it, last season was dreadful on all aspects of the club, wasn't it? They just had a terrible year last year. Now, having had this big win, they signed a couple of good players. I didn't think the squad was going to be incredibly strong, but Caesar had a great game. Cade Cuss looks like he's been a brilliant signing. We haven't seen much from Rapana yet. I'm excited to see how he goes. So another game with a lot of intrigue. Which way are you calling this one?
Well, before that, I'm just going to say that this is actually a rerun of the round 4 Challenge Cup fixture as well, albeit, they're playing at Wigan.
Stato.
But, so, exciting on that in them terms as well. But I think this is a Wigan win. I think they sort out any little problems they had against Leigh. I think they fire on. They don't want any losses this year at all. They've got one under the belt already. They've got to be kicking on. And I think Hull, although all indications are much improved from last year, still haven't got enough to beat Wigan. So I've got a Wigan win.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Wigan win. I'm hoping
by 16.
No. I'm hoping Hull put in another strong performance. I want to see them being strong contenders again this year, and I hope we see a great game, which I'm sure we will. First game at Hull this year. I'm going Wigan win by less than 10 though. I think it'll be close.
In terms of we're going to experience that match and we're looking around the stadium and all that, what aspect are you most looking forward to experiencing, Carl?
Just the pre-game out. I'm expecting an email any time now to tell us what's going on. So they promise big things. I think there's a light show on, and I want to get in with the fans outside the ground on a match day experience and really absorb it, what it's like to be at a Hull FC game. It's been a long time since I've been, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, what I want to experience is that legendary Hull FC support.
Yeah.
They've got one of the biggest followings in Super League, and I want to experience it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Can we move on?
Yeah, we're going to have some chip spice before the game.
I don't know what this chip spice is,
mate. I'm not that clued up. But people tell me if you go to Hull and you go to a fish and chip shop, you can get chip spice with your chips. So we're going to dig out a chippy, put it in the comments. Actually, if people are watching, put it in the comments. Which is the best fish and chip shop in Hull that serves chip spice? There we go. We'll do Rugby League Outsiders ratings.
Right. Okay. So moving on, then we've got Warrington versus Catalan at Warrington, also 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so Warrington didn't fire, did they, straight away against Huddersfield, or Huddersfield just much improved that we didn't really expect? Difficult one to say. I think Warrington have got one eye on Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Wigan and look at Warrington. Neither team were quite as firing as they were last year. Warrington did fire in the second half. It took Dufty a while to really get going. And he had a great game, actually, by the way. Really good game.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Dufty, he got a bit of shit recently, didn't he? Because he basically said that the two biggest teams in Super League are out in Vegas, right? So of course the likes of likes of Hull,
Saints,
Hull, Saints, Leeds. You know what I mean? They were like, what the freaking hell is he saying? Anyway, so that's down to that. So he got a bit of shit. However, his performance on the pitch was sublime. It was really, really good in a Warrington outfit that looked clunky. Although they were playing at depth, and looking back at the clips and watching the highlights again, just how deep they were playing was, really stood out to me. And,
we took a bit of an in-depth look, didn't we, at their attacking shape, and they run the same line a couple of times, and they had 3 options every time, and Dufty used option A, B and C, and it brought up 3 tries. Incredibly difficult to defend. If you're Huddersfield, you kind of think, right, I know he's going to do a miss-out pass here and it's going to Matty Ashton. Oh, actually, drops it on the inside to King, who goes over. So, great attacking shape from Warrington. Not as good in defence, although Tui Lola here had a great game. He sort of pulled them apart a bit. Anyway, I'm going off. I think Warrington are going to win this one because all indications at Catalan at the minute is it's not great. I know we've only got 2 games to go off. I watched them against Halifax in the Challenge Cup and I thought they were bang average. I know they didn't have all the stars playing, but they did against Hull, and Hull picked them apart. So I'm going to Warrington win on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to Warrington win. By the way, how much confidence is Matty Ashton playing with? And I tip him for at least 1 try this week, possibly 2 tries against Catalan.
So, are you going to put your £2 on it like you did last week?
I'll definitely have a little £2 flutter.
Did you have any bets coming?
No, did I chuff? I bet on Leeds to win, right? And the odds were like, I think I'd make 50p, right? But I mean, I'm not a big gambler anyway. You know what I mean? I'm not. It doesn't really. I don't need to be gambling and stuff like that. In fact, I remember I went to this bookies with my mate once. We were out on the piss and we went to this book and he goes, right, we're going to go on this roulette. And the guy had creamed all the money out of this roulette machine. And he's like, come on, I'm going to show you how. He goes, right, put your tenner in or whatever. So I put a tenner in. I was like, fucking hell, tenner's a lot of money. Put that in the machine. won, right? I won 50 quid straight away, right? And he's like, yes, right, we go again. I'm like that. Cashed out and just walked away, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't need anymore, I'm chuffed with my 50 quid.
I'm taking the Rugby League Outsiders bank card to Vegas, mate. I'll tell you that.
No more than a fucking pound, right? Pound fix or whatever.
I'll put whatever we make on the programme, I'll put it all on red.
Right,
quid going on red.
Right, I tell you what, if you win 100 quid out there, right, you've got to go find yourself a dwarf and marry a dwarf, right? That's the prize for you if you win.
I hope Kelly's not watching this video.
Why does she like dwarfs? Right, anyway, we're breaking away. I think it's a wire win as well. I think it's a comfortable win until Catalan get their shit in order. But I'm looking forward to watching Luke Keary play and Elliot Whitehead. So best luck on those terms.
Yep, Warrington by 10 for me.
Nice. Okay, let's move on to Saturday. We've got Salford versus Leeds. If you ever want to play Salford, potentially this is the week to do it.
Yeah.
So
are we going to be watching it through our hands like this? Please don't serve up that again. I hope at the time we're recording this video right now is that everything gets sorted out at Salford and we do not have to watch what we watched on Sunday night on national television. Not more I can say about that. Either way, I don't care what side they put out, Leeds will win this one. I think Leeds are hurting. I think they've been giving it the beginning off-season. Brad Arthur, the most difficult training pre-season they've ever had. And I don't know what happened to them at the weekend. Did they underestimate Wakefield?
No, well, possibly. But I think Brad Arthur put it down to individuals trying incredibly hard, too hard, and not having the cohesion across the team. So whether we see some players dropped this week
you said to me that you might see Jake Connor be dropped after one game.
Well, he was definitely unsteady at the back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He missed tackles. His tackling wasn't great. Whether it was him that he was referring to in terms of like individual effort, I don't really know, but something's got to get sorted out. I've got a Leeds win as well. By the way, in terms of the Salford situation, we really dive deep into that in our set of 6, so make sure you check that out as well. Leeds win. I think we can move on from there. Moving on to the next game. So that's 3 o'clock, by the way. Then we've got 8 o'clock. We've got Castleford versus Saints.
So Castleford, we watched them against Bradford, and they were dreadful for certainly 40 minutes and tried to pull it out the bag in the last 40. However, they went to Hull KR with a full house, an intimidating full house. Small pocket of Cass fans in the background, but did they make some noise and did their team perform for them? 100%. I thought Cass were brilliant, actually. And the NRL boys that have come over, which we sort of spoke about in the off-season, we weren't quite sure how they were going to go on. I thought they were brilliant. I thought Cass were really good.
Yeah, you can get a feel, can't you, from the number of times a player's mentioned by the commentators. And it was always RC, it was Simbakin.
Zach Seeney.
Zach Seeney.
Zach Seeney's got a great try, jumped up, picked it out of the air.
Leapt like a salmon.
Yeah. I enjoy watching Cass when they're on form, and they were certainly on form again this weekend. I know Hull KR weren't quite at the races, we've already sort of spoken about them. But, that Hull KR side, as we said, that Hull KR side is a star-studded side. And on paper, you would expect Hull KR to beat them. But Cass, they were great. So it's going to be a close one. Saints, we don't have much to go on because essentially they played a team of about the quality of you and me. Maybe not even that good. In our heyday. Oh no, I should have said that. The comments are going already.
He's modest though. Okay, so one thing we can take from Saints is Tristan Saylor is fire.
Yeah, that guy's got rockets on his boots, hasn't he? Yeah, so quick. Yeah, you could talk about all the Saints team, but he in particular stood out, and it was like, are we already seeing the potential man of steel? I know it's a ridiculous thing saying it after one game against a team of kids, but he looked great. I can't wait to watch him play for the rest of the season. At the Jungle, this difficult one to call this. Who are you going with?
I'm going Saints. I'm going with Saints win. I think they continue this winning streak. I think Castleford potentially a little bit tired. And I don't know. You can see it's got Danny Maguire's imprinted all over Castleford. You know what I mean? But I think this is going to be a game of attrition with the likes of Morgan Knowles, Matty Lees, the big forwards at Saints. I think they're going to dominate, and it's going to be a Saints win.
Just going to Danny Maguire before I give you my prediction. How much did he live that game at the weekend? Every minute of the game, he just lived it, didn't he? And I love to see that. It just shows so much passion. It shows how much he wants his club to win. I thought it was great. Yeah,
that coach camp, sometimes it's just like, they just hold themselves together so much. It takes me back to Paul Anderson, right? Who was coaching. Did you see it? The coach cam went on him and he slammed his water bottle. Did you remember? Do you remember it? And he hit someone with a water bottle, didn't he? Did you see it? He was like, I'm sorry. Yeah, but he did. And I saw a post on social media, and it was saying, does anyone know if Danny Maguire stopped clapping yet? Because he was just literally clapping everything, loving everything. And so passionate. Good to see. Let's have more of that.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm going for a Saints win. Although Castleford much improved on the Challenge Cup fixture, I think Saints look red hot. I know they were playing Salford, but they look red hot. I'm interested to see if they're going to be right up the top end of the table later on in the season. So, yeah, Saints win for me.
Right, so moving on to Sunday then. We've got one game. Before we get into this, it's Leigh versus Huddersfield. I just want to say that I've just got to take something back a little bit. The Leigh shirt didn't look that bad on the pitch. It was one of those where it definitely looked better. And we're talking about the Midnight Leopard.
Yeah, they wore the away kit, that's why.
Yeah, we like the away kit.
I love the away kit. I told you the away kit was brilliant. I said to you straight away, I said the away kit is brilliant. Oh, they're at home this weekend though. Ooh.
Yeah, so they got the red blotches on. So, Cal, before we get into this next game then, what other shirts did you kind of look at and thought, yeah, they look better in person, or no change on any of that?
Do you know, I rated the Cash shirt highly, didn't I? But when I saw it on the pitch, you know what? I thought it were even notch above.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the Cash shirt looked brilliant.
I think Huddersfield shirt, we did slate that a little bit with the big amber panel on the shoulders there, the gold panel, but that actually it doesn't look too bad on the pitch.
Yeah, Huddersfield shirt looked better on the field as well. I agree with you there. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it then. Leigh versus Huddersfield, 14:30, 2:30 on the Sunday.
Well, Leigh were brilliant. Huddersfield were a lot better than last year. We spoke about Leigh already, haven't we? The energy they brought to the DW on Thursday night was awesome, and it was the defence. Like, they lost quite a lot of their experienced players, didn't they, Leigh, in the off-season? I didn't think they'd be able to properly replicate what they had last year. If anything, they looked better. They looked a lot better. The defence was so solid. It didn't look like they were going to leak a try all night. I mean, Jaifield, Bevan, Frenchies, they didn't have any gaps to run at. And the defence actually bullied Wigan at times. That was the one thing I was really impressed by, Leigh's defence. For that reason, I don't think Huddersfield have got enough in the arsenal to break Leigh down.
Yeah, I've got a Leigh win as well. I've got to say that the Robbie Mulhern, there were calls for him to, feature more in the England setup last year, and we've got to get back into that because, he's performing incredibly well there. He can't be overlooked this year. I'm putting this down to a Leigh win. I think it's going to be a comfortable win, but I think if Lola here can fire and get that team, moving around the pitch like they did this weekend, they've got a chance. They've got a chance.
Yeah, but like I said, Huddersfield much improved on last year in the first game. I hope for Luke Robinson's sake that they keep getting better, but I see a Leigh win coming this week.
Right, if you can't take in all the games, Carl, which ones are you must watch this weekend?
I think Wakefield v Hull KI is the one that really intrigues me. I just have this feeling that Wakefield are going to build on what they started against Leeds. And we had Hull KI down as right up there, didn't we, with Wigan? And I still think there will be. I think it's a star-studded side. They can't not be at the top of the table this year. But I think I just have this feeling Wakefield are going to go all guns blazing at home in the first game of Super League. Should be a cracker.
Brilliant. Okay, so if you've taken anything from this and enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe. It really helps us know that we're producing good stuff for you. And if you haven't checked out the Set of Six yet, our weekly news show, then make sure you do that. Final thing, we've got, in terms of shirt reviews, we've got our NRL shirt review dropping later this week as well. So another reason to hit the subscribe so you get all those notifications and new videos being released. So until the next video, take care.